What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data and today is August 23rd of 2017. So as you all know, if you watch my channel, you probably understand by now that I love getting feedback in the comments below on my videos and in my live streams about what coin or token I should cover next. And I have gotten extensive requests from every single platform that I use to communicate with you all on about a specific cryptocurrency that's jumped up the leaderboards and taken the headlines. And it is no other than the Chinese-based cryptocurrency and Chinese exchange of Binance. So what is Binance Coin specifically, and what does it have to do with the Binance exchange that has recently come up practically out of nowhere? It's been honestly an interesting jump, and I think that there's a lot of reason as to why that's happened on a fundamental sense. So I can see that there's some relative optimism behind it. That being said, before we can jump into the tech, taking a look at the exchange, and looking at some of the benefits of the Binance coin, we got to start off, as always on this channel, looking at the numbers. So let's jump right into it, folks. As we go into the numbers here, I want to make true to my promise. I promised myself when I would cover it that I would show the market cap growth on this, folks. We were just a few weeks ago looking at Binance, right at the beginning of August, so just about 20 days ago, this was viewed as a $10 million cryptocurrency. And within less than a month, it has exploded to over $262 million in valuation. That is nothing to laugh about. That's no pump and dump. This is real. I mean, this is really incredible stuff. And I think that it's been an absolutely smart and, intriguing way for people to be brought onto the Binance exchange, to say the least. Whether or not you think it's sustainable or not, we'll learn as to why there's so much optimism behind it. And I can understand why people are buying it up while it was relatively cheap. But that being said, even with the market cap, we can see that there is volume backing this up. This is, as I said, no kind of, a kind of FOMO or pump and dump. There's some serious buying coming on in here, around $66 million in volume in the past 24 hours. So definitely something to keep your eye on. And we can see that the circulating supply is sitting at 100 million Binance coin out of the total supply of 200 million. Now, before I can speak on anything, I want to make sure that you all know that the total supply is the max supply. There will never be any more Binance than 200 million. However, a lot of you might be concerned about the 100 million Binance out of the 200 million that are totally in supply. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on, and I'm going to explain it and talk about how it was distributed during the ICO. So we'll try to, kind of watch through most of the spheres, and you'll learn how they actually are planning to take the Binance coin in the future. So that all being said, now that we have talked about the basics of the numbers on Binance coin, I think it's time we go look at the Binance exchange. So if you all are going on Binance.com for your first time, you're probably going to see something that looks like this because it's a Chinese exchange. Now, they're hoping to be an international exchange in the long term, and you can actually go out and start participating in it. However, it's based in China, and they're really trying to fix a core issue at hand. Right now in China, there's a lot of issues in the sense of buying cryptocurrency right now in China due to government intervention. And what they're trying to do is build an exchange that is completely off of the market of traditional fiat currency and is more towards cryptocurrency to cryptocurrency exchange. So there is no fiat currency, or in this case in China, the yuan, Chinese yuan, being used as a means of exchange. So it's completely cryptocurrency. You've got to use either Bitcoin or Ethereum to transact with the Binance coin, or bring that Ethereum or Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies that they take onto the exchange to utilize as a means of exchange for other assets. So kind of interesting, but at the same time, I think it's awesome how they're trying to get around that, because I hate how government has been intervening in the works of cryptocurrency, and I think that the more we can get around this censorship and this intervention and what is the next step of technology in the web, I really think that this is going to be a game changer if it can do that. So I also want to bring it back to English here, because there's a big misconception that a lot of people have about Binance, which I still don't like how they're kind of advertising. It's a little misleading. As you can see down here, a lot of people have been talking about the high-speed zero trading fee. Now, that sounds all great, and right now, yes, you do not pay any trading fee on Binance. However, that is ending on August 26th of 2017, which is in 3 days. Nonetheless, though, that's not making me want to shy away from Binance. I think it's a little misleading, though. I just wanted to clear the smoke on it. However, there is a lot of benefits to using the Binance coin on this exchange, and how you can pay much lower fees. Not to mention, Binance itself has lower fees than most exchanges like Bittrex that I commonly use. So We're going to dive into that and look into all kinds of things. However, I think it's best that we go ahead and jump into the exchange. We don't even need to create an account. We can go here, click on the exchange icon at the top, and it takes us instantly towards the Binance exchange. Now, as you all can probably see, it's nothing excessively fancy. And I think that that's good because if you're trying to make an international exchange, you need to make it something that can run on any device in any country. And I think especially in developing countries like India and China that are just getting into cryptocurrencies and might be limited on some tech, I think that this is a wonderful look, honestly, for an exchange. It's clear, it's functioning, and it seems like it's running securely. The one thing I do have a concern about is just security in general. I want to make sure that that's at the forefront, but nonetheless, as time, time will be the teller of that as to whether or not they're secure and they've got a good security team working. For now, everything's functioning fine. There hasn't been any major flaws in the exchange, and people can make transactions. It's not some hopeful ICO that we're going to raise a lot of money and then launch the exchange. No, it's actually operating right now. So you can go out and purchase Binance token on the exchange and start using that to benefit in paying for fees on your trades. That's the big selling point about Binance's coin. And we're going to dive a little more into that later on. But we can see that the platform looks nice. The very average chart they have here is for kind of the average Joe. This is a very simple kind of way for people to interact with cryptocurrency and get news like an average individual would, kind of like for stock exchanges like Yahoo Finance or Google Finance, something simple like that. That all being said, traders are not left behind on the Binance exchange. They wanted to build it from the start with traders in mind as well. So if you go here and click on the Pro feature, which, let me remind you, is completely free. Shocker, I know. A very nice professional trading platform that you can use with the Binance exchange is completely free, and it allows you to use pretty much all the technical indicators you're used to. You have your different time zones here. You've got tools and you've got your indicators. We've got a lot that we've covered on my channel, the Bollinger Bands, the RSI, MACD. So a lot of interesting indicators that you can use to really get in-depth analysis on this. You've got full screen as well. And I think right now we're looking at Neo. Yeah, we're looking at Neo right now. And you can see that it has everything that you need in an exchange practically. So definitely looks professional to me. It looks like it's functioning. And it's cool to see that they have a final product like this that, for someone who's more of an actual trader who needs that extra bit of technical analysis, they've got the tools for you. So no one's being left out here. Binance has really thought about making an international exchange for everyone, and I think that's really nice. So the last thing I want to cover on the exchange real quick as we go back here to the website is there's one category I didn't talk about. As we all know, ICOs are the craze in cryptocurrencies right now. And Binance is trying to launch a lot of blockchain ICO projects and build exclusive launches for them on the platform. Yet another reason why you'd want to use the Binance platform. They're working with a lot of Chinese cryptocurrencies and are trying to alleviate a lot of the stress of launching the ICO and bringing it to their platform. The two that they're launching right now are Tron and LLT. Now, yes, I don't know too much on these projects, but it seems like they're definitely trying to raise a decent amount of money, and they seem like they're relatively serious projects. And that's cool to see Binance so early on getting these ICOs coming onto the exchange and helping them raise capital and get onto the exchange. So it's an interesting concept to me, and I think that that's good to see Binance is developing at every single forefront and is making sure that it literally can expand its growth as quick as possible, because adoption is key if we really want to see the Binance coin continue to grow. So now that we've talked about Binance, I think it's actually a good time to segue into the topic of the Binance coin and talk a little bit about that before we go on to talking about some benefits of the exchange. So as we look at the Binance coin here, a lot of you were probably curious earlier on about what we were talking about with the supply and how it was allocated during the ICO. Well, of course, 50% in the circulating supply were distributed through the ICO and the participants who were a part of it. So 100 million were circulated out, and then 80 million of them, 40%, were put towards the founding team. Now, I know that might sound like a lot, but not only have we seen this with large candidates like Neo, there's a good reason why the founding team has this right now. We can also see that 10% were allocated towards angel investors, which is understandable. They've got a fully functioning trading platform running up, so they probably had a solid initial investment from Chinese investors as they built the exchange. So here's the major thing that you can do with Binance Coin. It's directly tied with using the Binance platform, so it keeps you on the platform. That's the big kind of selling point. But at the same time, you get a benefit in the sense of paying fees. Fees, as we all know, especially if you're someone who's a day trader or swing trader, we can all understand that it eats up our profits. For example, on Bittrex, I know that any kind of trade that I make or investment or purchase that I make, I have to pay 0.25% on whatever I'm paying, on that trade or investment. So as an investment, it's not a big deal, but as a trader or someone who does algorithmic investing, where I'm doing a lot of micro trades with my algo bot, I wouldn't want to use Bittrex. It would be hard for me to make those micro profits. Whereas if I have the Binance coin and I'm using Binance's exchange, I not only pay already lower fees on the Binance exchange comparative to Bittrex, but if I use the Binance coin, I can have to pay practically net zero fees on my trades. And that goes for exchange fees, withdrawals fees, listing fees, any other fee on the platform. So that is a huge selling point. I think that I've told you all for a while, algo traders are used by a lot of the algorithmic trading techniques are used by the big players. And I think they're going to start circulating a lot of their money over and using this platform if they can really benefit from the low fees. Now, what does it look like in the sense of discount rate? Well, it's nice they have it very structured here. You can see over from 1 to 4 years, it slowly decreases, but you start off with a 50%, go to a 25%, a 12.5%, 6.75%, and then on the 5th year, no discount. Now, you can see, however, they have what's known as the repurchasing plan. What's the objective of it? The team is hoping to take 20% of profits each and every quarter from the actual company that they, is doing the exchange. On the exchange, from their revenues that they generate, they're going to take 20% of quarterly profits each quarter and go back and buy Binance. And they're going to hopefully destroy 50% of the supply in total. So they're not just hoarding it and keeping it for themselves. They're actually destroying it as the discount rate goes down over time, leaving only 100 million in circulation. Now, you might wonder, it's like, well, I can't get a discount with it. Why would I want 100 million? It all goes towards the future of its ambitions of being a decentralized exchange. We've been hearing a lot about BitShares and all these other concepts of building a decentralized exchange. Binance wants to be a decentralized exchange in the future, and they're hoping to use it as one of the key base assets to use as gas to manage transactions on the exchange in the future when it becomes decentralized. So that's the purpose of the remaining Binance for those of you who would want to hold it in the long term. And if Binance generally gets adopted and then they eventually go towards a decentralized exchange, I think it's just going to become worth more at that time. Now, can they deliver on all this? I don't know. We have to understand this is a centralized exchange. It's a company. We'll have to see if they can really deliver on this promise. Not to mention, can they really be that #1 exchange to where this coin will be valued? Only time will tell in that sense, folks. Continuing on, I really wanted to talk about those and my fellow neobugs in the community. This is something that a lot of people have been talking about and trying to, get me interested in on Binance, in the sense that I want to start generating gas on my neo investment. Binance is the only exchange, and it hurts me to say this because I love exchanges like Bittrex. I've been looking at other exchanges as well that have really proposed some really interesting features, but no exchange out there other than Binance has been able to provide a very simple request: to give the gas that is generated from NEO to its rightful holders. And Binance delivers. Thank the Lord there is an exchange out there that gets people want to hold their NEO and get the gas they rightfully deserve. I don't know, maybe there's something I'm missing that makes it difficult, but the fact that they're delivering on that is a very high quality standard in the sense of Binance, and I give my applause to them. Whether I end up using their exchange, an absolute applause that they're the first exchange to do this, and gosh, has it taken some time to deliver on that for other exchanges. No one's really meeting that, so you definitely read through it here. It's a really interesting feature of Binance. So if you're a neobug, if you want to trade a lot of Chinese cryptocurrencies, this is just another benefit to participating in the neo craze on the Binance exchange. So last thing I want to talk about too is that with these ICOs, another benefit that a lot of people don't know about the Binance token is that you will get discounts on the recent ICOs that launch on the platform using the Binance token as a means of exchange. A lot of people don't know this about Binance. You can get them at much fairer rates using Binance during the ICO session. So when you're filing on the ICO, if you use Binance comparative to Ethereum as a means of payment, you will get better rates on these ICOs. And that's another premium kind of feature of using the cryptocurrency itself, giving it yet more value. So if they can really get people onto the platform, people interested, the value of this cryptocurrency and the features that come with it is going to probably make this a billion-dollar cryptocurrency. That all being said, it is a very ambitious project. I have to be critical in that sense. It is very ambitious. However, if they can maintain the fee structure and the company itself can maintain a profit and they can continue to buy back the cryptocurrency and deliver on their promises of destroying it over time, that to me really shows that this is going to have a decent lifespan as not only as an exchange, but as a cryptocurrency over the next year or so at least. So definitely interesting. I'm glad I got to look into it and learn a little bit more about it. Like I said, I was a little bit late to the train on it. However, I will tell you, the last thing I will say is I remember watching Binance down here at these levels. I didn't obviously call for it to skyrocket like this because I didn't know what it was. I just remember looking at the little logo for it and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And, it's trending a little bit today. And what's it about? I never really looked into it because I went to the website and it was instantly in Chinese and I was like, oh gosh. So I didn't think to even just click on the little English subtitles, and I missed out on a very big opportunity. But you never know. We can all play Captain Hindsight on these, but definitely an interesting game changer here, folks. It's interesting to see a centralized company and exchange trying to build such an incentive program and to see such adoption in such a short period of time. I'm really blown away, and I gotta say, I gotta give it to the team there. They've done a fantastic job of it. So that all being said, now that I've rambled on a little bit about the exchange and the coin and its benefits, I'd love to hear what you all think about it. Do you all think this is going to last in the long term? Do you think that Binance will be one of the largest international exchanges in the next few years? And do you think it'll help fix the issues in China in the sense of exchanging cryptocurrencies? I'd also love to hear if you've got a coin or token that I haven't covered on my channel. If you can go ahead and check and see if I have covered in the past, I appreciate it. But if I haven't, please leave it down below and I'll try to get to it as soon as possible. But until then, everyone, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.